morning. Welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Wednesday, March 25th, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S. It's 3:30 p.m. in London. In Mexico City, it's 9:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. Got a couple of breaking stories. The Saudis are saying that they have broken an al-Qaeda ring in Saudi Arabia and have made over 110 arrests. Also, sales of homes in the United States have dipped to their lowest point ever during February. That's apparently being attributed to the very bad weather throughout most of the country. Also, the Royal Gazette down in Hamilton, Bermuda, is reporting in an article by Ruth Kelly Lynch that a Bermuda flag vessel was captured by pirates yesterday. The Bermuda government is confirming that the refrigerated cargo vessel, the Talca, pictured here, was hijacked off the coast of Oman while on a voyage from Egypt to Iran with a cargo of citrus. Apparently the boat has been contacted. All 21 crew members are safe. It's currently being shadowed by an American Navy ship. And it's not known, if any, what responsibility Bermuda might have as the ship's registered home. Also, a big up-and-coming broker in the Middle East, Chedid and Associates, made an announcement indicating that Mr. Maroun Murad will be relocating to Beirut to establish Chedid Capital Shared Services Center. Maroun will be responsible for such things as HR, operations and systems, legal, administration, budgeting, strategy, and marketing services. Maroun is well known in the Middle East. He was formerly the chief operating officer for Gulf Reinsurance. Prior to that, he worked for AIG in Europe. Well, we'll now go to our main news. Main news continues to be the big storm in Perth, Australia, in Western Australia the other day. Allianz Australia is saying that the storm could be one of the most costly natural catastrophes in Western Australia's history, saying that it could result in claims of more than 300 million Australian. Over 100,000 people are left without power after the storm hit Perth late Monday, hurling golf ball-sized hailstones and causing floods. The initial figure of some 100 million Australian dollars is expected to be surpassed by Allianz. They say they've already received over 2,000 claims as a result of the Monday storm. Those claims in themselves total over 17 million Australian. A spokesman for Insurance Australia Group, IAG, the giant down there, said that it was too soon after the event to quantify its expected claim numbers from the storm. IAG's exposure to a single natural peril, however, is currently capped at 75 million Australian. Lloyd's posted record profits. They reported a pre-tax gain of 3.87 billion pounds. That's about 5.8 million US for 2009, up from 1.9 billion pounds the year before. It's the highest ever recorded by the Lloyd's market. GWP for the year rose to about 22 billion from about 18 billion, mostly because of the different average exchange rate for dollar to sterling, $1.57 compared to $1.85. Foreign exchange rate movements actually contributed to about $2.5 billion of the gain. The combined ratio improved to 86.1% from 91 and change. Central assets the fund rose from 2.07 billion pounds up to 2.08 billion pounds. Lloyd's noted that it had benefited in particular from the benign hurricane season in the United States, which saw the lowest number of named storms in 1997. We announced the big raid by the FSA yesterday. They're saying that they actually raided homes and offices of Deutsche Bank and a hedge fund called Moore Capital as part of an investigation into alleged insider trading. 6 men were arrested and documents and computers were seized after the FSA ordered a squad of 143 officers to raid 16 residential and business addresses yesterday morning. The FSA said that 2 senior financial market professionals and a Moore Capital employee were among the 6 held following the operation. The FSA said it's believed that the city professionals passed inside information to traders who traded on this information and have made significant profits. The spokesman for Deutsche Bank said we're cooperating with authorities. The names of the senior financial market professionals arrested in the raid were not given. Moore Capital is a New York-based operation with a London unit. Said the investigation of its employees did not involve any funds managed by the group. Moore is a fund started by Sir Thomas More Bacon, I believe. He's a well-known, extraordinarily wealthy individual in Britain. Some of the sources are naming a name as being a Moore's London operation employee. I will not give you the name, but you can find it. He is a so-called execution trader whose main job is completing equity trades for the fund. Moore Capital said that the individual concerned has been placed on administrative leave pending completion of the investigation. Well, Jonathan Kent down at the Bermuda Royal Gazette has done the work that people have been looking for. He's added the tally up. He says that the Bermuda insurance market could have to fork out as much as $1.7 billion in claims related to catastrophes that struck in the first quarter. Those, of course, would include the Chilean earthquake and the windstorm in Europe called Xynthia, not to mention numerous winter storms in the U.S., as well as the hailstorm in southern Australia. According to Mr. Kent's article, he said so far, guidance given by 16 major players in Bermuda have their losses attributed to the earthquake alone as possibly reaching $1.5 billion US. Those numbers include the estimate of ACE, which is a Swiss company but has substantial operations in Bermuda. They do not include numbers from RenRe, which of course is down there, which has said only that the cat losses could be meaningful but not high enough to stop the company making a first quarter profit, nor Lancashire Holdings, which said that there was too much uncertainty to make a realistic estimation. Those numbers also do not include estimates from a group of privately held reinsurers, including Ariel, Harbor Point, Taurus, nor from some public companies who have not yet given guidance, such as Catlin and Aspen. The biggest estimate so far, of course, came from Partner Re, which estimated a loss of between $220 million to $320 million for the quake, and from $40 million to $70 million for the storm. The Catlin, we mentioned them. They've also were interviewed by Mr. Kent, who apparently was very busy yesterday down in Bermuda. He interviewed Stephen Catlin, who was complaining about the recent increase in the payroll tax enacted by Ms. Cox. And Mr. Catlin said that the increasing cost of employing people in Bermuda is only going to add to the island's global reinsurers to locate more jobs in cheaper jurisdictions. Catlin said that the rate of the payroll tax for the coming fiscal year being increased from 14% to 16% means that it's a nasty surprise, as he said. He said, I don't think the insurance industry had this adequately flagged. It was a shock. Catlin said, I really think that going forward, and I recognize this is a two-way street, he said, better communication between government and the insurance industry would be a good thing. He said the companies setting their budgets for this year had needed to build the increased employment expenses into their business models. He said all of us who run global companies have a choice of where we employ people. He said we need our underwriters, of course, at the coalface. They have to be where the business is done, but the support for those underwriters do not have to be in the same place. He said, and this is sort of a shot across the bow, it's not cheap to employ people in Bermuda, and I would urge the government to be mindful of that when they make increases in employment costs. We know exactly what it costs to run each office and the cost per head of our employees. Like every public company, we have a responsibility to keep our expenses down. He then proceeded to cite the example of Catlin's Kuala Lumpur office, where about 85% of the company's data inputting is done. The office was opened 5 years ago. It's been a success. Catlin said the employees took pride in their work, did it well, and were so happy to have their jobs that turnover has remained basically nil. Catlin, of course, is a Lloyd's insurer and moved its holding company from London to Bermuda in '99. Last year it recorded some net income of $600 million. The Bermuda office wrote about $450 million, and mainly property catastrophe, about 15% of the group's total. Stock market in the U.S. is down a little bit today, about 47 points. We'll go to a word from our